it was really difficult for me to figure out how to put together a balanced nutritional meal. It was either like I was kind of eating 2 hard-boiled eggs for breakfast because I was trying to just minimize calories wherever I could, or it would be something like putting together a lunch that had no protein because I was just kind of going for like certain flavors without thinking about, or even just being like afraid to add calories for things that were good for me but that I valued less. Like having a lower calorie meal was more important than having it be a nutritionally balanced, sustaining meal.
Mhm.
That was a big challenge. And also being a woman in our really thin focused culture, it was just
Yeah.
eating in response to what I had already done. Like every meal was a response to the one before it.
Yes. So very reactive
Yeah.
and less of being intentional and proactive and thinking through things. That's the biggest thing I've recognized for you is that given all of your life changes and circumstances and all these things, like you're still being intentional, like, okay, how can I make the most of this meal given what I have?
Yeah. No,
Wherever I am.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I think it's like something that has felt really exciting to me is to break that habit of reactivity. Maybe I'll, have a dinner where I've had more wine than I was planning on or whatever. Like it's just been a day and like instead of doing something else, I do have that wine. And in the past, I feel like that would lead me toward drinking more wine or like having some ice cream or something. And now, even if I do something that doesn't quite adhere with my nutrition goals, I don't have to underline that in the same way by going with it more. I can be like, oh, well, now I can drink some water and move a little bit. And it doesn't necessarily undo the wine, but it adds to it. The picture of the day changes.
Yeah, you're less using one moment to dictate your future choices. And
Yeah.
you're looking at that as, okay, this happened. I'm recognizing, I'm acknowledging, but I also can make the next decision and do something differently if I choose
Yeah.
to. And you're doing that more often than not. And that's progress. Frequency around these things is huge. That's a huge difference.
Hmm. I think that's also, that's part of what can sometimes be challenging about slow change or seeing sort of the subtlety is that I think part of what was a breakthrough for me with this coaching was I felt like I should just like be a different person doing things in a totally different way and just suddenly be a different size, all of those things. And then what I realized with time is just making all of these slow, small choices differently. That is the change, actually.
Mhm.
You aren't just suddenly someone new. It's just about how often you are making these choices that add up into doing something different.
Yeah, and I think that's what needed to happen for you is more consistency and less
Yeah.
complexity. Because I think
Yeah.
you're making it so extremely difficult,
Yeah.
by, like you said, skipping meals, eliminating wherever you could without looking at health and how
Hmm.
you want to feel and what you valued and experiences and not needing a vacation or a weekend as an off switch from what you were doing.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. And I think also just like a real decrease of anxiety around food and everything else has been
Yeah.
tied to that routine and consistency. I think about the occasions where I want to be able to sort of step out of that routine a little bit.
Yeah, and that's okay too, right? To have
Yeah,
flexibility.
totally. Right. But it's like being intentional about it as
Yeah.
opposed to just kind of deviating, just feels different.
It is
Yeah.
different. It's different in a
Yeah.
dimmer way, right? In like
Yeah.
a subtle way.
Right.
And we've been through traveling, vacations, life circumstances
Yeah.
changing, all the things. What do you feel like at this point your health, your mindset, your nutrition is now 9 months down the road?
I mean, I think it's just really empowering. It just builds confidence to have worked with you over these 9 months and had so many sort of different circumstances within that time. And I know we talked about when I went to Puerto Rico, I was like doing my thing, it's like
Yeah,
not really
yeah,
worrying about nutrition stuff so much. But like when
yeah.
I got back, I felt confident that I could resume where I had been coming from and that it was that week, even though I was not particularly treating my body well, I was having a great time, and it was easy when I
Yeah.
came back from it to know that I could just like pick up with with my routine.
But that's so important is when you come back, not feeling like you're dreading getting back to something completely restrictive, that
Yeah.
you actually want to have vegetables and produce,
Yeah.
move your body and intentionally and get back to sleeping and water and, those basic things that you fundamentally know support you to feel your best.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and also it's like, even though I felt like I was not going with our nutrition coaching when I was on vacation, I still was, it was like I was still being
Yeah.
really careful about getting enough water and trying to get steps in. And I mean, sleep has always been something that's really important to me. So,
But that's the difference, is coming back and still feeling like, okay, like I can just pick right back up and it's not,
right.
or it didn't carry over, right? That can happen also where, oh, screw it. Like I just, messed up this whole week. So I might as well just carry over that behavior when I get back.
Exactly. That I think has been probably like the biggest game changer for me in doing this coaching, is figuring out how to recognize that all or nothing thinking.
Yeah.
And I think something that was really interesting for me is that I haven't lost weight at this point, but I have so much less anxiety about what my weight is, because I am confident that I'm like treating my body well, and I feel much more in control of the things that I'm doing. And I also think that in the long term, I will end up losing weight. It's just that this is a slow, gradual shift that I think it's safe to say took me 9 months to
Yeah.
really get to a point where, so it's like we've been working together all of this time, and I feel like really in the last month or two that I'm getting to the place where it's like clicking for me. And so I'm excited to see what goes from here.
What do you feel like made this different from Noob and doing that for so long? Because I think that
Hmm.
really skewed your relationship with what weight loss or nutrition should look like.
Yeah, Noom and Weight Watchers and all of it. It's just, I think those programs try to figure out how to like teach you nutritional stuff, but it really is still all based around what it is that's going to make you lose weight the fastest. And that's just
Right.
based on deprivation and not about a really good understanding of what it takes to have your body keep going. And it's just a totally different approach, because those apps or those programs don't have any real connection to you as a person in the way
Right.
that like we did. Their success and their adoption rate is based entirely on getting people to lose weight quickly, which is
Right.
just about, yeah, not feeding your body very much, and it's like,
Yeah.
so if you want to do it, kind of slowly over the long term and really make it so that you can keep it up. Newman Weight Watchers is just a crash calorie deficit diet. And that's not
Yeah.
what this was.
Right. But you really had to establish habits that made sense with your schedule. You work from
Exactly.
home, so that's different than someone else, or what you even enjoy in a meal, what you value in your day, what your activity can realistically be in different seasons. And all of these things matter. I mean, Weight Watchers doesn't care that you go to Puerto Rico on vacation and what that's going to look like, or when you get back from that, or
Yeah.
all these things that you had to navigate and learn how to do in the mix of life. It's really about living your life in a way that feels supportive, and nutrition is in the background.
Yeah. I think that's a really good summary of how it feels like your coaching differs from those programs. It just felt like it really obviously like took me into consideration. This coaching really helped me find peace in my body without changing it drastically. And it's like I know that there's more that I want to do, but the way that that has transformed is moving away from what my body looks like to being more about how my body feels. Am I taking care of it by moving? Am I taking care of it by feeding it right? That's better than losing 20 pounds.
That's success. That is success
Yeah.
to you. And you said that in the beginning, of success to me is understanding what that looks like, what a balanced meal is, how to best support my health, looking at how I can manage my health values, my labs better, right? That piece. This is exactly what needed to happen first. And the timeline around that is different for everybody. And
Yeah.
there's no pressure once you release the pressure, because so often we're tied to weight and timeline. I need to lose this amount of weight in this amount of time, and that's success. But then we
Yeah.
take into account all these other things in our life and circumstances and mood and energy and all these other variables. But when we can release the pressure of the timeline, live our life in a way that feels supportive, take care of our bodies first, then we see the outcome.
Yeah, that's totally right. I feel that, like I feel like I'm in the right place. It doesn't feel scary, it feels exciting.
That's exactly how I want you to feel. Like this is
Yeah.
exactly the goal, is that I want
Yeah.
you to say that I have the tools, I have the knowledge, I have the application, I have the confidence within myself to be able to do this. Just having the confidence within yourself is the most important thing.
Yeah, I feel it.
I'm so proud of you, and it was just such an honor to be a part of this with
Yeah.
you.
Oh, thank you, Jenny. I really appreciate everything you've done
Yeah.
for me. It's been wonderful, and I really don't think I could have gotten here any other way, and it feels great.